3 times, 4 times. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foes that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foes that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy, could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had gold. Brand new you on the old time road, take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming bump the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty roads. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real man talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you peep these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. That it came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause you know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop, I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you're lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. Be help me, shout let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Shalom and shalom to you all. Good evening. Thank you for being here with me. I know you could have been anywhere in the world and anywhere on this internet, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. Give yourselves a hand. On this beautiful Thursday, what is it, November 30th? November is gone. November is gone. November came and November left. I mean, just out of here. So our main topic. Oh, okay. Yes. So our main topic for tonight is your sin bill is past due. Is that what I titled it? Yes, that's what I titled it. And we're going to talk about it. Of course, it has to do with, us and inspired by some things that are going on in the news, okay, which we're going to get into all that. First and foremost, let me do my shout outs. Thank you for joining me yet again. Shout out to my audience on Messiah TV. If you have not downloaded the Messiah TV app, what are you waiting for? It's on your Roku, your Fire Stick, your Apple TV, any smart television. You can download the app. If you can't make it to the TV, you can go to Messiah.tv on your laptop, phone, web browser, and watch from there also, okay? So, Messiah TV. And it's not just my show. It's not just my show. There are lots of other righteous talk shows, a lot of other righteous content on there, and then just some regular movies. Like, gosh, what is that movie? It was some movie with a dog. I can't remember. I saw it and I was like, oh, they have that on there. So yes, go check out Messiah TV, please. To the sexiest, most hard-workingest, most dedicated, most loving husband in Israel. Monologue Magad, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not following him on your social media platforms, what are you doing? Follow him, MONOLOGMAGAD, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. He's not on TikTok. I'm trying to get him over to TikTok. He's not on TikTok. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You can hear past music, see past visuals, and be kept up to date about when new things are coming out. So at Monologue Magad, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And so if you are new here, I am at Miss Mono's World on all of your socials, Facebook, IG, TikTok, all those good ones. So you can follow me there in these content creator streets at Miss Mono's World. Okay. Thank you to everyone who's joining me on the IG. Please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. That way you can take part in the entire experience. And please, to my audience, feel free to jump in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. This is a inclusive experience. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about your man's Brother Love, okay? Because that's his new name, Brother Love. For those of you that don't know, he done went from, wait, who was he first? At first he was Puffy, then he was Diddy, then he was Puff Daddy. I can't keep up with all the different names, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Sean Combs, aka currently Brother Love. We don't know what's coming next. But just as fast as the lawsuit from Cassie was settled, here come 2 new lawsuits, okay? And now all of these lawsuits are coming out because of this New York adult survivors law that gives them like an extra year to file any kind of charges or get any kind of redemption or anything like that, okay? So now there's 2 new lawsuits. He stepped down from Revolt. And I forgot what clothing store it is, but they said they will not be carrying Sean John anymore. King the Chef, Shalom and Shalom. What is up? They're not gonna be carrying the Sean John clothing line anymore. And I believe it was a liquor brand that he was dealing with has also parted ways with him. Okay. So we're going to get into this a little bit more later because it does have to do with our main topic about your sin bill being past due. Okay. King 7, Shalom and Shalom. Bruno, Sister Delta, Shalom and Shalom, sis. Let me show y'all my shirt. You can hit up my good sis for your shirt. Hold on. Okay. Let your light so shine. Listen, y'all, this shirt is the puff print. I don't know if you can like tell it, but it's textured. It's puffy. This is a really nice, really comfortable shirt. Y'all know y'all don't usually see me in hoodies. Okay. I like to be comfortable. Okay. So yes, you can hit up my good sis, Sister Delta, to get your shirt. I was going to say your copy, but your shirt to get your shirt. DeLeon, yes, okay, that's who it was. They parted ways with him as well. So his businesses are being hit right now. But honestly, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, he's one of those people that it probably doesn't matter. This man has amassed millions upon millions of dollars. He probably don't care. Shalom and shalom, Abaya, righteous nutrition. I'm gonna say he don't care, but we'll get into that later. So, okay, I don't know if y'all watched the Soul Train Awards or not. I did not. I do not watch those things. But there was an award that they have been giving out since forever called the Lady of Soul Award. It was given to, like the Lady Artist of the Year, and been this way since its inception. Well, just this year, they changed the Lady of Soul Award to the Spirit of Soul Award. Okay. Why? Because Lady of Soul Award fit perfectly, right? You give it to a woman who's done well in music that year. No, but they changed it to the Spirit of Soul Award in order to accommodate Janelle Monáe. Now, I don't know how many of y'all know who she is. I was a fan of hers at first when she was just coming out in her little black and white outfits. I was a fan of her music. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I can get into it. Okay, but here recently, she's joined the Alphabet Mafia and declared herself non-binary. And I'm gonna say this. I feel like a lot of these people play with that just to get a foot in the door with that audience. Okay. Because what does it take to say that you're non-binary? It's no sweat. Like, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to do anything. I don't have to sign any paper. I could just claim that today I don't feel like I'm a girl, or I don't feel like I'm a man. And so I'm a non-binary alien squirrel chipmunk person. I don't know. Okay. But what I'm saying is, I feel like a lot of y'all is playing in the Alphabet Mafia face with this. And so I want to say I don't understand, but being that we're in the world, what's non-binary? Okay, maybe everybody don't know. So, and I said I was going to stop talking from a place of assumption. I prayed about that earlier. I stopped talking from a place of assumption and explain what I'm saying. So, non-binary is when a person decides that they don't feel like a boy and they don't feel like a girl. These are the people that get up and decide what gender they want to be that day, because gender is not about your body parts. It is a social construct and a function of the mind, allegedly. So that's what that's about. Um, but here we go again. And I'm not saying that this is new, but here we go again with another Black institution just changing things, going along with this flow. And in her, in her speech, or in the interview that she did afterwards, she was talking about how Black queer people are still, marginalized and pushed to the outside of society. Well, yeah. I mean, okay, so anyway, like, it's getting ridiculous at this point. And then, okay, this reminds me though that GQ named Kim Kardashian their man of the year. Take a beat, think about it. Kim Kardashian was named GQ's man of the year. Okay, now what are the odds that her stepdaddy mama, whatever Caitlyn is these days, was awarded woman of the year, and he's not a woman. He was awarded woman of the year at the ESPYs that year that he came out. I don't know if y'all remember that. But now Kim, who's not a man, has won GQ man of the year. So it's kind of like we're at a point in this country where 1 and 1 don't equal 2 anymore. Good is definitely being called evil, and evil is definitely being called good. We are losing the basic fund, the foundation is what I'm trying to say. We're losing the foundation of humanity. Like, we're losing the basic understanding of who we are as people. And, again, I don't understand why we will understand certain things when it comes to organization, right? Or say you're cleaning your house, okay? When you put up your dishes, you tend to put all the dishes together in the same place so you know where to go, okay? I put my plates in one place so I know where to go when I need a plate. I put my pots in one place so I know where to go when I need a pot. Can I tell y'all how infuriating? It is so infuriating to me when someone puts a dish in the wrong place. Okay, like if so I have like 3 cabinets where I keep my pots. So if this one pot from this set is not where it's supposed to be, I get discombobulated and frustrated because, like, oh, now I gotta spend time trying to look for it. I have no idea where it is. So what I feel like we're taking that same confusion and inserting it into the most basic parts of our life. Okay. There's a reason that we classify each other as male and female beyond because that's what the Most High said. Now, that is the most important reason. The creator of you said you are a boy, you are a girl. Okay. That's just like you telling Steve Jobs that he made an Android when this man clearly makes iPhones. Okay. I don't know if I said the right person, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like you're telling the creator that he got it wrong. Okay. And not only that, and I can from my own experience with my sons and my daughters, it is up to us to guide them to what they are. Okay. My son is not born knowing, okay, I'm a male. This is what I do as a male. This is my purpose and my function as a male. He has to be taught that. My daughters didn't understand when they were born, okay, I'm a woman. This is my purpose and my duty as a woman. These are things that have to be taught, okay? But we're at the point now where adults aren't even giving children the opportunity to make a right choice, okay? Because I love you. So I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? I'm going to tell you, listen, this is how you're supposed to live. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you were made, right? But what we have now is, and I believe it's a bunch of parents who are trying to live vicariously through their children. They feel like they didn't get to express their curiosities when they were young. So now they have these children who can't speak up for themselves. So I'm going to make this child into what I want it to be. I want it to be a boy. So now I'm going to tell my daughter that she's a boy. I want it to be a girl. So now I'm going to tell my son that he's a girl. Okay. So we're not even, we are at the point where we don't even give kids a chance right now. All right. And there's no, there used to be some kind of boundaries. There used to be boundaries. Not saying that these things didn't happen. We've always had queer and LGBT people among us. They've always been among us. But there were boundaries. You didn't do certain things in certain places. You didn't display certain behaviors in front of small impressionable children. Okay? But we've totally lost those boundaries now. We are just out here doing whatever. Angelina Israel Shalom and Shalom says we're out here doing whatever, living how we want to live. And here's the thing that we don't realize. Divine Lee, Shalom and Shalom. Here's the thing that we don't realize. When you remove the boundaries when you remove your boundaries of on your behavior, you are also removing the boundaries on others' behavior, okay? Because only thieves steal, okay? If you're a thief, you steal. You're a thief because you steal. You stealing makes you a thief, right? But if I am not doing those things that make me a woman, or if I never learned those things that make me a woman, then how am I going to come into my womanhood? If I'm not taught those things to make me a man, how am I going to come into manhood? You understand what I'm saying? We're not even giving the kids a chance. Somebody tell the bank I'm no longer identifying as a thousandaire. I'm a billionaire. They need to fix my account. No, for real. So, and there's not even a reprise. Mary Lou, Shalom and Shalom. There's not even like a safety net. Like there used to be a safety net, at least with what they were showing us on television, right? You couldn't show certain things on television. I don't know if you remember, if any of y'all like watched the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Green Acres, like any old show where they show families. Back then, even married couples had to sleep in separate beds. Go back and watch I Love Lucy, the Jetsons, Green Acres, the Flintstones. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The married couples slept in separate beds on television, even after Lucy had got pregnant. Lucy was pregnant. I remember Wilma got pregnant. They were still sleeping in separate beds because they did not even want to introduce the children to these things. Okay. And so what slowly started happening is, okay, well, we'll allow this and we'll allow that. Now we're going to have to allow this. And now once you're allowing, I'm going to call it fornication, because these weren't the display of heterosexual sex on television was not always in the context of a married couple. We can't act like that. We can't act like, oh, well, every time you saw two hetero people on TV, it was righteous. No, we can't say that because that's not true. But so what you have is now that the heteros get to display their sin, now everybody else wants the same opportunity to display their sin as well. Oh, Archie Bunker, All in the Family. Okay, thank you, Kiki Chef. Princess Washington, Shalom and Shalom. Thank you for joining me. And what was I saying? I forgot. So now everybody wants a chance to do everything that everybody else does, right? Like, remember when Black people weren't on television? Remember when the only way that they would display us was either in a slave or a mammy role, or they would get someone to put on blackface, right? They wouldn't let us participate in their theater. Well, what happened eventually, right? And I don't feel like this should have been done. But after Black people begging and begging and begging, please let us be represented. Please display us. Please let us take part in your theater. Now they display us doing any and everything that we don't want to be doing. Now we complain because they show us as over-sexualized, ratchet. They got Sexy Red out here barefoot and pregnant, shaking her behind on the stage. I don't know how many of y'all have saw this clip. I saw the clip yesterday and I thought I saved it, but I didn't. Okay. This heifer is barefoot and pregnant in booty shorts and a cutoff top, looking homeless. She looks homeless. She looks like a homeless pregnant person. But this is who they are sitting in front of our children for entertainment. And let's not act like when they put these people up on these pedestals of fame and they get them bright, shiny lights behind them, that this is not enticing to our children and those who don't know better. Okay, some of us can sit back and look at this thing and be like, hell no, I'm not having nothing to do with that. But there are those of out here who are lost, who are looking for an identity. And because Sexy Red is on their freaking timeline every 2 seconds, or because she always taking a picture with a big stack of money, and isn't that everybody's goal, the big stack of money? Okay, because she's put up like this, our children are being told this is who you should be like. Taking pictures with men with their freaking parole, home arrest, ankle bracelets on, dirty feet. Talking about I only love men in prison. Like, come on. And I don't understand why we as Black women aren't more insulted by this. Here's what I don't understand why we're not in an uproar. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. The fact that it was Drake who put her out got me even more a little hot, because y'all love Drake. Y'all love Drake, but I'm sorry. Anybody who actively displays that type of imagery about Black women cannot love Black women. You cannot love Black women and invest in, advocate, or in otherwise participate in Sexy Red's career. You can't. You cannot. This is what you think of me. This is what you think of us. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. And boycott Drake while you at it. I'm sorry. Boycott Drake. No, seriously. Boycott Drake. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. Exactly, Mary Lou. It's a hot shame. A hot shame. Yeah, listen, Google Sexy Red bare feet and you'll see the picture. You'll see the picture. It's up there. Another form of slave merchandising. Exactly. Exactly. But they're going to keep putting her, they're going to keep throwing her in our faces. And it's ridiculous. Okay, so I don't know how many of y'all have been keeping up with the Young Thug trial. Okay, but it's been going down. Like every day there's a new news story. But supposedly the defense is well, first of all, this a third time trying to get a mistrial. Okay, they have tried to get a mistrial 3 times. The defense has. So today was their third time trying to get a mistrial because the live stream has showed the jurors. Like the jurors are supposed to be sequestered. But the live stream showed the jurors. So now they're trying to get a mistrial for that too. But so the defense is that Young Thug wasn't the one pulling the trigger or selling the drugs. He just wrote the songs to talk about it. Like he was just an associate, right? And so the defense, the prosecution is he had an influence over these people. He was the leader. This is what they do in the RICO, right? They have to point out the leader. He was the leader of this organization, and he's the one that influenced these people to commit these crimes. Okay. And like we talk about this all the time, and it's going to get into our main topic too. Listen, you don't have to be pulling the trigger to be guilty of the sin, of the crime. Okay. You just being there is enough. You just knowing about it and allowing it to go on is enough. Because if you know about it, now you're an accessory as well. And this is why I'm a big advocate of minding my own business. Listen, I don't sign up for crime. I do not sign up for crime because I'm going to tell. Why am I going to tell? Because I don't want to go to jail. I do not want to go to jail. I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to be put in handcuffs. I don't want to be put in the back of the police car. I don't want the police coming to my house asking me questions. Okay. So no, I'm not doing anything. And let this be a lesson to y'all out there. All right. You stay away from them thugs and criminals because you will get labeled one too. Okay. Just like we was talking about the dishes. If I see you hanging out in the cabinet with the plates, I'm gonna think you a plate. If I see you hanging out with the cups, I'm gonna think you a cup. If you're not a thug or a criminal. All right, so let's talk about first, like, share, subscribe. I'll be forgetting to do my little commercials. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. So you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If you like what I'm saying, or you like what we got going on here at the House of Mono, please head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do, or 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, whatever you feel like giving. We definitely appreciate you. We appreciate you if you've given in the past, and thank you in advance if you are going to give today. All right, so let's talk about your sin bill being passed through. And here's my thing, right? We all know the wages of sin is death, right? That's the verse. We all got that scripture down. But I come to propose to you all that maybe we do not consider the many forms that death can take. Often when we think of death, we think of the ultimate final death, your spirit leaves your body. You're no longer here on this plane with us. This is what comes to mind, right? Or you may hear, the wages of sin is death and feel like, that's for prisoners who end up on death row or criminals who are shot in the while they're carrying out the crime or whatever. Oh, they got what they deserve. The wages of sin is death, whatever. But I want to propose to y'all that we actually are capable of dying multiple deaths in our life. What do I mean by that? If you've ever had a past, a colorful past, a not so colorful, a past that you were trying to shed and get rid of, you imposed a type of death upon yourself because you said, I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want this part of me to be operating anymore. I don't want to deal with this spirit anymore. I'm done with this. Okay. You wanted to close the chapter on that part of your life, right? Okay. The thing that we don't realize when we get involved with sin, and maybe you do realize it, okay, because picture it for me. The last time you were involved in some kind of conundrum, web, entanglement, anything like that, just picture it. The last time you had to ask the Most High to get you out some ish that you had got yourself in. And the thing about this is, you knew you weren't supposed to go there. You knew you weren't supposed to go there, right? But you did. You might have prayed about it, and you might have even been like, Lord, please forgive me, have mercy, whatever you did, but you did the sin anyway. You went there anyway, right? And so you even continued in it. You reveled in it because sin feels good, okay? You wouldn't do a thing if it didn't feel good. So it started feeling good to you. So you kept on doing it and kept on doing it. And every time you would go back and do it, you would be like, okay, this is the last time. I'm not going to do this anymore. Okay, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. This is it. I'm about to, leave this thing alone. And you don't. Lo and behold, you do not. You keep going on. Okay. And now you're stuck. You can be stuck emotionally, or you so in love, you don't know what to do, and this man ain't giving you the time of day, or it can happen the other way for the brothers. You done got a case, you done caught a case now, and you waiting to go to court and trying to figure out who's gonna say what and who gonna do what. You're in a financial bind now, you done mismanaged your finances, and now you trying to figure out how you're gonna pay the rent, the light, and get food because you mismanage your finances. Okay. It can be a number of things that we find ourselves caught up in, right? And so what I want to say to you is, even though you will not, or you may not ultimately die directly as a result of your sin, there is a certain death coming upon you if you do not repent and turn from that sin. All right. Let's take your boy, Brother Love, Puff Daddy, Diddy, whatever you want to call him. For those of us who are old enough to remember, this man has had rumors circulating about him since the 90s. Okay. That's 3 decades now. Okay. There have been accusations of sexual misconduct, abusing people. Even men have made complaints about him, about making unwanted sexual advances, just a litany of allegations. Okay. And so Cassie files the lawsuit, and everybody's like, why'd she wait so long? Why'd she wait so long? Why'd she wait so long? If you, and I'm not saying that this is the case with this gentleman. I'm just asking you to put yourself in that position, okay? For whatever thing you did, say you Puffy, okay? And for whatever reason, you keep stealing money from the register at work. Oh, good example. You work at Amazon. You keep stealing from Amazon, right? Just taking little things here and there and think nobody's going to notice. Little $5, $10 item, little this, little that. Nobody's going to notice. Nobody says anything. You feel like you're getting away with it. You go to work, you get your check, you go home with your new toy or whatever. And you think you've been getting away with it. You've been doing this for years. And then one day, you get ready to leave for work with a little goodie in your bag, and all of a sudden the police are waiting for you to ask you some questions, right? And so you're probably like, well, What the heck? Y'all been knowing I've been stealing this whole time. Why you didn't say nothing before now? See, the thing with Amazon is they'll let you steal until it amounts to a felony. They will let you keep stealing until you can be, because after a certain amount, now it becomes a felony. Now it's not just a little misdemeanor petty theft. Oh no, sir, we're going to throw the book at you. Okay. And so I need for y'all to understand that a lot of times your sin will act out in the same way. And I want to say this, don't think that the devil doesn't sit around waiting for your sins to pile up to bring about your destruction. Not even so much so that he can go and tell the Most High, ooh, look what they doing, look what they doing, because the Most High already knows what you're doing. But for your own destruction, right? Because it's one thing to get hit with a petty theft charge. You might have to quit your job and get a little probation, do a little community service, pick up some trash on the highway, whatever. Okay, but if I'm coming to hit you with that felony, boo, we're going to court. There's going to be a trial. If you choose not to plead guilty, and you're going to do some time. Okay, you now have a felony conviction on your record. You cannot buy a firearm. In some places, you can't vote. I mean, there are so many more consequences that come with that action, right? So if I'm seeking your destruction and I see that you have a problem with not being able to keep your legs closed, sisters and cousins, what am I going to do? I'm going to let you fornicate until you come up pregnant. Now you're a single mother claiming to be in the truth, and you got to explain to everybody why you pregnant without a husband. I know you fall for the love of money a lot. So what I'm going to do, even if you in the truth, I don't care if you dedicated your life to the Most High. I don't care if you're keeping all of the other laws. The fact of the matter is I can catch you on this drug dealing. So that's what I'm going to catch you on. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let the charges pile up. So when the boys come knocking, they taking you down for real. And now all you can do is minister from a prison cell. I'm gonna let you keep playing around with them people at work. You gonna keep playing around, hacking the time clock, having people clock in for you and everything else. And now when you get fired and can't figure out how you're gonna make it to the next paycheck, oh well. And see, we fail to understand that there are always unknown consequences for our actions, okay? Even when if it's a good action or it's a bad action, okay? Me doing this show, the result that we pray for is for somebody to hear this and for their heart, their spirit to be touched, and for them to turn to the Most High and want to deepen their relationship with him. That is what I hope for this. And then I hope that they would pass this on to their children or their family. They will witness to other people, and that by this action we would continue to spread the word of the Most High. Okay, but if you are taking opposite actions, what is your intended consequence? Right? You out here sleeping with this lady husband, and all of a sudden she find out, now she knocking at your door ready to bash your head in. And listen, I understand some of y'all might be like, polygyny, yes, but did that wife know? Does the wife know? And will she not react? That's all I'm saying. She at your door ready to bash your head in. Your kids got to witness it. The police are being called. Your boyfriend that's in there had a warrant, so now he going to jail. There are just unknown consequences. And this is why that scripture just rounds it up so well. The wages of sin is death, because you do not know what is lurking around that other corner. And here's, some of us like to toe the line. And what do I mean by toe the line? I mean, you want to know exactly what you can do before it counts as a sin. Like, okay, you saying I can't steal, but if I take it and bring it back without telling, is that the same? You understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, I can't eat shellfish, but if I have maybe a different kind, you will think of, so, and I've seen it happen. I've had conversations with people where it's like, where do I have to stop before it's sin? It's like your intent is not to do as much good as you can. Your intent is to more do as little evil as you can. And if you understand what I'm saying, these are not the same thing. Okay. My intent to do as much good as I can means I'm going to try to fulfill the parts of the law that I can. I'm going to pray. I'm going to read my word. I'm going to obey my husband. I'm going to be a good mother. I'm going to try to be the best wife I can be. I'm going to try to be the best neighbor I can be. I'm going to make sure I'm modest in my attitude and my apparel. You understand what I'm saying? This is me trying to do as much good as I can. But if I'm trying to do as little evil as I possibly can, okay, yeah, I'm going to tell this man we married, but I'm not cooking. I'm not cleaning. I'm not doing nothing he say do. I'll be home when I'll be home. He'll see me when he see me. Okay, yeah, the kids is there, but whatever, like whatever. As long as they not bleeding, then I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to do as little evil as possible. So exactly how much of my stomach can I show, and how exactly short can my shorts be, and I'm still on the right side. You understand what I'm saying? Our mission should not be to do as little evil, because at doing as little evil, you are doing no good. You're doing no good because your mind is not on the next level of things. Like I was talking about gender earlier, about how that's just the foundation for humanity. Such is the word of God. It is supposed to be our foundation for humanity. The word of God is supposed to outline how we are supposed to conduct ourselves for optimal use of our bodies as a human being. A lot of us don't want to acknowledge that we are a spirit. You have a spirit in this body, okay? This is why we talk about warring against the flesh. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. This is why we talk about those things, because you have this body that has its own desires. And until you are willing to say, okay, I understand that I got to fight with myself, you will always be looking to do as little evil as possible instead of as much good as possible. The word of God is the outline to do as much good as possible. When you set it up amongst yourself, when you set it upon yourself to do as much good as possible, now you will see about feeding the poor and the widow. You will see about showing compassion to your neighbor. You will see about being a witness to those around you, sharing the love of God. You will see about these things because you are no longer trying to redo the foundations of humanity, of your life, of how you're supposed to live. You understand every day when I wake up, I understand every day that I'm a woman. Okay, I don't have to waste time thinking about this. This is not a subject that I need to revisit every morning. So now guess what? I don't have to deal with that. So now I can set my mind on schooling my children and caring for my husband. But if I have to get up every day and spend 30 minutes to an hour figuring out if I'm going to be a boy or a girl today, now everything else around me starts to suffer because I can't get basic A to B to C. And so what we do is we leave ourselves basically in a state of infancy. You are basically walking around like a toddler. For example, I have a 5-year-old who is very curious, okay? And I have this balm. It's like a makeup remover balm in my room, and it has a little applicator that goes with it. So I've walked in my bathroom and I'll see the applicator is separate from the product, which I don't do that. I put the applicator right back on top of the product so I know it wasn't me, right? So the applicator is separate from the product, and I see this for a while and I'm like, okay, I know this ain't nobody but Atticus. So today I walked in the bathroom after he was supposed to be getting out the shower, and he was playing with my brow scissors. And I'm like, Atticus, no, you have to leave this stuff alone. This is not for you, okay? And so what I'm saying is a lot of y'all are like Atticus in that you're going to try to find a way to sneak and do the thing that you're curious about instead of just understanding that, no, the Lord said that this is not for me to do. All right. And so here's why we have to watch what we're taking in, right? Because the more you consume a thing through the eyes of television, and I tell y'all this all the time, that screen is a filter. Okay. The lighting, the ambiance, everything that you observe when you're watching television, this is done on purpose to romanticize the subject that you are watching. Case in point, I love this show called The Gilded Age. Love this show. It's about families in, the late 17th to 18th century. So you're talking about like 1890s to like right before the depression. So like the 20s. It takes place in old time New York, right? And so it introduces you to this family. And the one family is, they're like oil magnates, they're new money. And you follow this family story, and because of the way that the family is displayed and the way they tell the story, you start to become affectionate toward this family. You're like, oh, I like them, and you start cheering for the wife and you cheering for the husband, until later on in the story you start to realize that these were the robber barons, the union busting slave drivers that we learned to hate before. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, at one time we were told that these people were thieves and they did people wrong, and all they wanted to do was exploit the working class. But now that they've been put on this pedestal and dressed this way, and the lighting is this way, and the ambiance, the background is this way, now all of a sudden these are people for us to love and aspire to because of how they've been set up. How many of you have been watching a show that has an LGBT character on it and knowing full well that this is sin, but you still start to feel for this character? You start to empathize with this person. You start to sympathize with this person. You start to be like, oh, well, if I was like that, I wouldn't want people to do that to me either. You have been tricked into forgetting that this is sin. You have been straight up fooled into thinking that this is okay. Why? Because of the lights. Because of the lights and the camera and the money and the fame and all the trappings of the things that we're taught that we're supposed to want. Right? And so the odd thing about it is the Most High definitely had a plan for us, to live the way we were supposed to live. This was definitely the plan of the Most High. But through sin, as it was then, like it is now, through sin, we keep being devolved to our lowest state. And so your sin bill comes due when it seems like you are being chopped down at every hand. Okay. Um, you got charges, things are being taken away from you. You heartbroken. Okay, ladies, listen, even if y'all don't get pregnant, we know the effects of toxic relationships. We know the effects of fornication. You know what happens when you have sex with a man that's not your husband. It's happened to you millions of times before. Okay. And now here you are in the truth saying that you're going to stand up and be right, and you fell for it again. Right. And I know that, we want to hear a message of grace and mercy and this and that, but I'm going to tell y'all right now, as we are staring at World War III happening in between us, it's time out for that. It's time out for that. Like you're playing so close to the fire now. It's like y'all want to play right next to the stove when it's on high. It, and I know it's easy to get lulled into the rhythm of everyday life. I was telling my boys the story of Noah and how he was directed to build the ark, and it had never rained before. So nobody believed him. And I was explaining to him how those people continue carrying on their lives like normal. They were having weddings, having birthday parties, celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas. I was just modernizing it for our conversation. They were still doing all the things that everybody else is doing and not paying Noah any attention, right? And so we get like that. We get lulled into the rhythm of our everyday life because, well, there are no bombs dropping outside my door. So is World War III really happening? And I don't like this new narrative of, oh, well, if you just don't watch the news, then you don't have a reason to be depressed. No, that's not true. It's like, oh, well, if I stay in the house and I don't look at the sun, that means the sun not shining. No, just because you don't see it happening in front of you doesn't mean that it's not happening, and it doesn't mean that you don't need to be concerned about it. Right? But we get so caught up in the distractions. And listen, I'm down for a good distraction. Y'all know I love reality TV and everything else. Okay. So I'm not saying like, oh no, you shouldn't be watching TV or nothing. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is you need to understand what's the important stuff and what's the entertainment. I was reading an article on Instagram, and somebody was like, how is this news? It's like all y'all do is recycle social media posts and make it news. And that's true. A lot of them do. If you look, it'll be a Reddit post or it'll be something off AITA or something like that. That they're trying to present to us as news, as something that's important, as something that we need to care about. So no, it's absolutely your job to understand what's important. Okay, and to consume that material. And I want to stress to you that in this day and time that we are living in, it is not time for us to be comfortable or lax in our sin. I don't know if you realize what's going on in this world, but Black people, they are coming for us. Okay, they are trying to do away with teaching critical race theory because they don't want their children's feelings to be hurt when they hear the stories of what their parents, grandparents, and great grandparents did to us. Well, how many of you know that when you stop talking about a history, you are doomed to repeat it? Okay. Look at us. Every time we sin, we go into slavery, the Most High redeems us. We forget and we sin again and we go right back into slavery. This has been the story of our people pretty much since the beginning. If you would just take a gander in your Bible, it happened over and over and over again. We forget. We start sinning again. And now we are enslaved again. If you cannot accept this in a macro situation, like if you're like, oh, you tripping, Miss Mono, we're not going to be enslaved again. Take a look at your own life. Take a look at your own life. Think about that bad habit. I don't know what your habit is. It could be crack. Some of y'all watch too much TV. Some of y'all be on the phone too much. Some of y'all can't leave that boy and or girl alone. Some of y'all overeat. Some of y'all talk about people all the time. Okay, whatever habit that is, you get caught up in the habit. Okay, let's take a drug addict. Let's take a drug addict, right? They hit their bottom. They in jail. They locked up, whatever. They get clean. They go to jail and get clean, or they go to rehab and get clean, blah, blah, blah. They come out a new person. No, I'm going to live right. And they clean up their life. They get a job. They start taking care of their kids. They join a church. Everything is love. Oh man, there was a movie I saw and this exact situation occurred. But something happens, they're triggered, something happens, and they start using again. Right? Inevitably, they wind up back in the same position as they were before the last time they said that they were going to stop. Inevitably. This is why when you go to places like AA and NA, they tell you this is a disease you will be dealing with for the rest of your life. We need to get that same speech about sin. This is a disease that you will be dealing with for the rest of your life. The only way to not be affected by it is to avoid it. There is no cure. Okay. And I know that we've been fed the narrative, and please hear what I'm saying, y'all. We've been fed the narrative of Jesus died for my sins. Jesus' blood is the cure for my sins. No. Did it allow you to be able to be redeemed? Absolutely, yes. But does it mean that you can continue sinning and there's no pay for it? Absolutely not. The blood that was shed for us redeems you back to the Most High. It gives you the knowledge of how not to sin. Okay, we know in order to not sin, we have to keep the law, but it does not excuse you from sinning. It does not abolish the wages of your sin. I'm sorry to tell you that if you choose to keep on sinning, and this is why I don't like for people to call themselves sinners, because if you are a sinner, this means that you have not accepted, you have not been redeemed. Now, if that's what you are, then that's what you are, and you need to get help. But a lot of times it's not bought in a terms of, oh, you need to get help for this. It's bought in terms of, yes, I'm a sinner and God still loves me. And if I die right now today, my all is well with my soul because Jesus died for me. Well, guess what? If I go to Walmart and put a 65-inch TV on layaway for you, and you, even if you go pick up the TV, say you go pick up the TV, right? You pick up the TV, you take it home, you never turn it on, you never read the instructions, you never do any of that. Then what good is it? It's just sitting there. And that's how y'all are with the redemptive power of Christ. It's just sitting there. If you keep smacking me and you keep telling me you're sorry, the first few times, if I'm merciful, because technically the first time, okay, but the first few times, I'm gonna forgive you. All right, it was an accident. All right, you didn't mean to. All right, now that's enough. Okay, but about the third or fourth time, I'm gonna believe that you're doing this on purpose. I'm going to believe that you are purposely trying to smack me. You're purposely trying to hurt me. You purposely want to insult me. And so therefore, whatever comes after I smack you, you fully deserved it. You fully deserved it. And now here's the thing. I've moved myself, right? I've left the room. I left the building. When you purposely go back to sin, it's like you purposely came to find me, to smack me, to hurt me. Purposely. And I know what y'all are saying. Oh, you're just saying that. You don't know what I be going through. You don't know my inner battles. And I don't. And guess what? I'm not even going to tell you that they're not valid. And I'm not going to tell you that I don't have some struggles of my own. That's not what I'm here to say. But what I am here to say is that it's time for you to stop playing with the Most High. You specifically. And it's hard to accept when the Most High has targeted you, right? Because it's only a third of us. If you get a measuring cup, you will see how little a third out of a whole is. Get you some pizza and cut up 3 slices of pizza. You will see how little of that pizza a third is. So when you think in terms of people, and then the fact that we're not even all grouped together. So the 1/3 is a little bit more spread out. So it may be a little harder to find. When you think in terms of that, I get how it's hard because everybody else around me is doing this. And to make it so bad, the people who are out here boldly in sin are living more comfortably than I could ever imagine. These people have made more money in a year than I have made in 5. And I just don't understand that. I get what you're saying. I'm tired of being lonely. I'll just take any old man at this point. I get what you're saying. I'm just lonely and I just want some friends. And she's married, but she's mess around on her husband, but I just need a friend. I understand the feelings, but we cannot co-sign on using sin to remedy those feelings. You have got to start finding some positive outlets for your feelings. If you're lonely, join a community group. Go to the library. Okay. There are things around you that you can do to fill those voids. All right. first and foremost, make sure that you're in good standing with the Most High, because I don't like when people act like, oh, just pray and read your Bible and that's it. No, that's not just it. That is taking care of the spirit man, yes. But now you need something to do with this flesh. Fast. Absolutely. Fasting, number one way to deal with your flesh. Okay. And now, how else can I use this energy to be productive instead of destructive? Okay. Can I go and volunteer at a school and work with some little kids instead of worrying about what this nigga's over here doing who ain't worried about me? Can I go and find some free stuff for me and my children to do instead of worrying about they daddy who done left us and who ain't worrying about me? Can I try to work on, can I learn how to sew fringes? Okay. Can I get on YouTube and try to pick up a skill? Can I work on my typing? Google has certification classes that you could take for free. There are online college classes that you could, there are things that you can do to redirect that energy that your flesh wants to use for your destruction. You just have to invest enough in yourself and care enough and love yourself enough to find these things, okay? All right, I'm sorry, y'all. I have not meant to ignore your comments, but when I get to going and I stop, I always lose my place, and I did not want to do that. I definitely wanted to make sure that I was clear on this message tonight. So thank you for your patience. I'm sorry, I'm getting to y'all comments. If my computer's gonna work for me. Here we go. Come on. No, it's not work. Okay, it's not showing my comments. Why? Okay, there it is. Right. No, this look, with everything that's going on in the world right now, the dollar possibly about to collapse. And they're not, I don't think they're fully reporting on the attack on the US installments that are occurring over there in Syria and Iraq, I believe. So no, like we're in it. We're in the war. I don't know, like what number of countries officially have to be involved for it to be declared a world war. But yeah, we're in it. The big players in it, us, Russia, well, not us, but the US, Russia, China. Okay. So it's going down. All praises. Thank you. Keep the show. Yes, this is one of my favorite things. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I love that. That is one of my favorite sayings. Yes, listen, repent. Let me tell y'all this too. Repenting is not a one-time act. It's not a one-time act. Now, you shouldn't be repenting about the same stuff over and over and over again. But if it's a struggle, do it. Shoot. If you gotta, Lord, I ain't gonna do this no more today, and mean it. And mean it. A lot of y'all will say, Lord, I ain't gonna do it no more today, playing on God's mercy as if he's not all knowing and he doesn't know your heart anyway. Right? As much as we like to quote that one, he knows my heart. He knows your heart. So stop playing. The Google certifications are high paying jobs. I've heard that. So, I mean, definitely, shoot, why not? Go on with it. Oh, all praises. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If you like what I'm saying or you like what we got going on over here, please head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. Thank y'all so much. My audience on the Saya TV. If you're watching us on TV, leave us on the TV. Get on the YouTube on your phone so you can join the conversation. Okay? All right. So, have you ever noticed? And I've noticed in my lifetime. When one thing starts to go wrong, everything goes wrong, right? It's like when stuff is blowing up at home, stuff is blowing up. Like there's a saying, when it rains, it pours, right? Like just everything is just falling upon you at once. And I don't know if you all have noticed, right? But whenever there are these big moves, and hear what I'm saying, I am not saying that the things that happen in Hollywood, celebrity land, whatever, I'm not saying that they are just totally naturally occurring coincidences. Absolutely not. I totally believe in agendas, conspiracies, and everything else. Um, it's to the point right now where I don't even believe this celebrity gossip. I don't believe it. I believe that these people plant these stories to get clicks and to make money off of us. And I hate to say it, I know some people are going to be mad about me saying this. I don't believe the whole TI situation. I don't believe it just sporadically happened like that. This boy done put out a song. He done did interviews and everything else afterwards. And hear what I'm saying. I'm not bashing the kid. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, King, that's a kid. I have teenagers, and I have adult kids, okay? So it's not about me bashing the kid. But I'm just saying that I feel like when these stories come out now, it's hard to believe. Like, how can I believe anything you're saying when you've proven over and over again that you will lie to get money? Beyonce and them been telling us for years, oh yeah, we plant stories in the media all the time. Like, come on. So what I'm saying is, like if you think back to like the Me Too movement, right? Or think back to surviving R. Kelly. Whenever there are these big exposures, right? It seems to all happen at one time, kind of like labor pains, like just in clusters, okay? When they started getting on Harvey Weinstein, all these women were coming out. It's everything is hitting you at once. And so, like I said earlier, if I'm seeking to destroy you, I'm not coming at you with some little pity pat. All right. I'm not gonna stop you at the beginning of your habit. I'm not gonna get you the first time you shoot up because you haven't done anything. You just had a little taste. It hasn't even, you haven't got to the fun part. See? And this is what I was saying. Yes, sin feels good. That's why we keep doing it. Right. And so I got to get you to the fun part. I got to get you to the part where you realize that this feels good to you independently. And so now you are encouraged and inspired to do this of yourself. I don't even have to present the temptation to you. What do I mean? The drugs don't show up at your doorstep, you go looking for them. The drug dealer don't call you, you call them. That man ain't calling you. He ain't text you. You go looking for him. He not sending the you up text. You are. Okay. It has to be to the point now where you are dependent upon this sin. And I know we only like to attribute dependency when we are talking about drug addiction, but the fact of the matter is a lot of us are dependent on things other than drugs. Okay? A lot of us are dependent on food. And this is a big problem in our community because not only are we dependent on food, we don't like to exercise. And now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Yes, I exercise, but I also eat. Okay, I am a exercising eater. All right. Um. So, but even with that, there's a limit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a limit to how much you should be eating, even of the lawful food. Like, just because it's lawful, don't mean you could just eat all you want. Okay. And so, but even with that, it doesn't stop. Have y'all ever seen 600 Pound Life? Most of those people were overweight kids. And it doesn't stop at that point. It doesn't stop when they're kids. They carry this with them throughout their adulthood to the point that when we are seeing them on television, they are literally telling us that they cannot help it. Like they cannot help eating 3 and 4 full plate servings just for breakfast. They cannot help it. They've gotten to the point where they are dependent upon the thing. Okay. So now you have gotten to the point where you have indulged in this sin so much that you are now dependent on it. Even if you're the one dealing the drugs, you are now dependent on the money from that. If you're the one climbing the pole or you're the one making it rain in the strip club, you are dependent upon the pole to get the money, and you are dependent upon making it rain in the strip club in order to convince you that you are having a good time. Let's talk about the overspending of money. I know y'all might be like, oh, well, technically it's not a sin. Are you mismanaging? Are you being a good steward? If the master came back and asked you what you did with your investment right now, what would you have to say about that? And so I talked about this before when we talked about whenever we talk about picking husbands, understanding um how the word is practically applied to your life. You understand what I'm saying? Um, so even while it may not say exactly, um, spend this much here, that much there, da 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 da, you know good and well when you get off work and you head to the bar, you head to the strip club or wherever you go with your money, you know that you are not being a good steward over that money. You know that that is not the purpose to which the Most High blessed you with the opportunity to have an increase. Why isn't your first ministry being taken care of? And here's what we tend to forget: our first ministry is our home, men and women. Your first ministry is your home. Ladies, there is no reason why you out ripping and running the street in this one face and that one face. You at everybody else's house but your own. Everybody else kids love you but your own. Everybody else house clean but yours. Everybody else husband is cool, except they always wonder why you at the house all the time and ain't you got your own man. Okay. We have to stop. Like I said, we got to stop trying to keep our foot on that fence riding. That's what they call it, fence riding. And I don't know if y'all have heard, I'm sure y'all have heard the scripture about how if you are lukewarm, the Most High will spit you out. He'd rather you be hot or cold. And I think about that a lot. If you have hot water, it's good for tea, it's good for coffee. You can boil, like, you can, hot water is useful. If you have cold water, it's definitely thirst quenching. Okay, you can use it to cool down things when it gets too hot. This water is useful. What good is lukewarm water? What does it accomplish? It's basically a nothing. It's a void because you've put cold and hot. You put everything you had to offer in one place. And so now you've made it nothing. Okay? Um and this is the same effect that we have when we try to mix the sacred and the profane. Because a lot of times I've heard people say, oh, well, I try to keep my karma balanced, right? Like, I'll try to do some good and I'll try to do some bad. But when you're doing that, all you're doing is, in your mind, canceling things out. Even if you just think about it, you're just bringing yourself to a zero. You're not positive on the side of good and you're not positive on the side of bad. You're just existing. You're just here and you're just floating. Okay. Um, and so lukewarm, fence riding, being in the middle, that's why they call it mid, because it's useless. It doesn't do anything. And when you are mid, that's what I'm gonna start calling fence riders mid. When you are mid, um, Mary Consoy, if you'd like to stay and finish watching, that's fine, ma'am. But I'm not going to deal with the comments. Okay. Lukewarm water is comfortable. Stop being comfortable in that sin like that water. Hello. It is comfortable. It's not too hot. You just sit there. Well, for me, I would. I like my water hot, but yes. um and yeah, that's the thing. We get comfortable in our sin, and that's what I was saying. We get dependent upon it. We get dependent upon it. We get dependent upon this thing to make us feel good. Okay. But so what we have to understand is my mother used to say, the Bible is true. The Bible is true 1,000%, no doubt. But when the Bible and the world are telling you the same thing, that is just an absolute that is just something you don't want to toy with. What do I mean by that? The Bible speaks of reaping what you sow, right? It speaks of returning what you plant. You plant the seed, you get a harvest. This is a cycle that we understand very well in life. The world speaks of karma. The world speaks of reaping and sowing, the same thing. They just use different words for it. Okay. So the fact that the world is telling you this and the Bible is telling you this, I would implore you to take extra heed to the fact that the things that you are doing are coming back to you. Okay. Understand what I'm saying here. And I'm not talking about when somebody hurts your feelings and then something happens to them and you're like, "Oh, yes, Boaz from Ruth." Yes, Mary, Boaz from Ruth. Um somebody does or something happens to somebody, right? Like let's just say something happened to that girl that you don't really like. And you'd be like, that's her karma. Or something happened to that boy that broke your heart. That's his karma. I'm not talking about that little pity petty stuff. All right. I'm talking about you being able to reap the harvest of the seeds that you planted. Okay. Um, a lot of times our attitude is a lot of times our attitude is our biggest hindrance, okay? And the negative behaviors that can come off of that attitude. And this is why we have to be careful about what we are taking in, what we are entertaining, and even the thoughts that we let stay in our mind, okay? And what do you mean thoughts? You have to monitor your thoughts. What is the verse I'm thinking of? As a man thinketh, so is he. And there's one other verse I'm thinking of, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. Please forgive me. Okay. But especially in this day and time that we're in with so much media around us and so many avenues of input, it can be very easy to be caught up in a train of thought and for some reason feel like you cannot control that train of thought. And now let me speak to those who may be dealing with mental illnesses. Um, go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. If it's overwhelming for you and you feel like you just can't take it no more, the thoughts are too much, please get some help. Okay? I'm not talking to you in this moment. I need if you are struggling with your mental health, being overwhelmed with thoughts, having destructive, intrusive thoughts, please go to a doctor and get some help. Okay. Now, for those of us who feel like maybe we just have thoughts that we don't want, or you may be like, why am I feeling like this? Why am I thinking this? Why is this even in my head? Why am I even concerned about this? Now this is what I'm saying to those of us that are like that. Okay. We have to be more proactive even on our own thoughts. Okay. You could walk by a television and just a flicker of a sound will totally put you in another headspace. Like I was folding shirts today, right? And the TV was on, but I wasn't looking at it. But there was like background music playing for this scene. And I started getting so anxious and overwhelmed. And I'm still folding the shirts. Like, I'm not watching what's on the TV, right? I'm still folding the shirts. But I just got like so overwhelmed and so anxious and just started having all these like horrible thoughts. And I was like, where is this coming from? So I stopped and turned the TV off, and immediately everything stopped. The anxiety stopped, the thought stopped, everything like that. And I had to realize, like, oh, it was the freaking background music. When I turned the television back on, the scene that they were showing went with that music, right? But I wasn't looking at the picture, I'm just listening to the sound, and it affected me. Okay. So this is what I'm saying to y'all. Um, and hear what I'm saying. I know we like to have a good time and we like to twerk at home in the privacy of our homes, ladies. We like to twerk and have a good time and turn up sometimes, but that music will wreak havoc on your mindset. Some of the things that you watch on television wreak havoc on your mindset. Some of y'all that be scrolling, ma'am, sis, cousin, some of y'all that be scrolling and looking at these pictures of these men a little bit too long, that will affect your mindset. Get off the relationship podcast if you are lonely. Get off it. Get out the chat rooms. It don't matter what Kevin Samuel said, what Derek Jackson said. If you are lonely and you are struggling, get away from the relationship stuff. Focus on the things that will make you happy right now. There are plenty of outlets. There's a lot of content for singles to help enrich their lives as single people. Listen, I hate to say it, but no, Paul didn't say it. He said he wished that some of y'all didn't have to get married. But I'm gonna just say, like, everybody ain't meant to be married. Everybody is not meant to be married. Okay. As somebody who has been in this game almost officially 10 years, let me tell you, it ain't for everybody. Some of y'all just ain't, I don't want to say strong enough. You're not compatible enough to have a husband, someone that you have to submit to. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, some days it's a challenge for me too. I have to catch myself and pray for myself some days too. Okay. So what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna sit here and broadcast a false hope, because I hate when people do that. I hate when people be like, well, it's because you don't have enough faith. That's why you don't have a husband. It's because it is. No, I'm not going to tell you why you do or do not have a husband. All you need to know is that you don't have one right now. And you need to figure out how to live your life in a way that's going to make sure that your soul survives, whether you get a husband or not. You understand what I'm saying? So, hey, go join a singles community group. Okay. Go hang out at Starbucks. Again, the library, such an underused resource. In our community here, we have like a swimming, indoor pool that you can go to. Okay. So there are ways, there are things again that you can do naturally to keep yourself from sin. I don't know why this isn't discussed more. We tend to act like we're just spirit beings and like we're not enclosed in this vehicle, this bag of flesh that has its needs and wants as well. This is why you have to drink water and eat. And if you don't, you will die. Okay. This body has needs. You're supposed to move and exercise, or your body will start to fall apart. Your body has needs. And as the steward of this vehicle, it is your responsibility to keep it doing the right things at the right time. It's just like with your car. Okay. The car needs gas or it won't go. The car needs an oil change or it's going to explode. Okay. You are the steward of that vehicle. I really wish that we could come a little bit off of our spirit mind. There was a saying in church, you're so spirit minded, you're no earthly good. I feel like now we are definitely at that point too, because we take things and we overcomplicate them. Everything is so overcomplicated because it's mystical and it's spiritual and it's things you can't see. But as I've come into the truth of the Bible, I'm starting to realize that a lot of this stuff is just plain old logic. If you accept the truth of the Bible, if you accept the Most High as the creator, then everything else just becomes logic. Everything else is just a picture of the thing to follow it. the parents are supposed to be the picture for the child and how they conduct their life and how they get married and continue their family. Okay, you work on certain things, like when you okay, we garden, right? So we plant our seed, and right now we're waiting for a harvest. Our we're maintaining, okay? I go out there, we feed the plants, we water the plants, we take care of the plants every day, and in their due season we are going to get our reward. Is that not just a metaphor for our entire lives? You plant your seeds of righteousness, and in your due season, you will reap your righteous harvest. I don't understand. Well, I do. But the fact of the matter is, we've been lied to so much that we will not even, we can't appreciate, we can't observe, we can't receive the very living examples that the Most High has set before us. And it's really crazy. Okay. Another reason that a lot of y'all probably should not get married is because you're not ready to accept the fact that your husband is the God figure in your life. And here's another thing that I wish we really were more educated and more literate as a people. What I mean by literate is you were taught to read, right? You were taught to read. I see a cat. I see a cat run. You were taught to recognize these words, but where you were not taught is to recognize the words, the meanings, and how they work together. Okay. That's why a lot of times we read the Bible and we have no idea of what we're reading. We don't understand commas, punctuations, emphasis on different things. We don't understand when things are possibly allegory. Okay. And so I think it hinders us from just even understanding a lot of the basic principles in life. Basic principles. Like the our chickens, okay, our henny hens, I call them the golden girls. They have attitudes and personalities, okay? So if I go out there and like their food isn't right, they let me know. Like as soon as I go to open the door, they are right at the door clucking at me like, "Girl, where you been? We hungry." Okay? And we have to understand, and hear what I'm saying. When people talk about feeding your flesh, unfortunately, they are often talking about negative behaviors, okay? But I want to encourage y'all to think of that in a different area, all right? Because like I like to read. I love to read. I don't get to do it as often as I used to, but I love reading. All right. Now, if it's not the Bible, then it is a secular natural thing. Okay. But it's not necessarily wrong. As long as what I'm reading is not vulgar, demeaning, and sinful, then this is a good thing for me to do. Okay. You're taking a class. It's not necessarily addressing a spiritual need, but this is a good thing for you to do, right? So we have to um stop thinking of everything that's not spiritual as a sin. Stop thinking that if I'm not reading the Bible, if I'm not praying, if I'm not in class, if I'm not this, if I'm not that, then it's a sin. We've got to stop doing that, because when you constrict yourself when you constrict yourself so tightly like that and for no reason, a lot of times when you come out, you just pop out. I mean, wow. Like you've seen children whose parents were super, super strict on them. And then soon as they got to college or got a chance, they just ran wild. I'll raise my hands because I was one of those kids. Okay, we see it all the time. And so I feel like a lot of times we do that to ourselves, right? Like you'll repent or whatever, and you'll be like, okay, I ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna just go to work and come home. And that's it. I'm not doing nothing else. But that's not the right answer either. Okay. You ever heard of overcorrecting? Like, you know how they talk about when you if your car starts to slip or whatever, and then you correct, you can overcorrect and cause even more of a problem. And so I think a lot of times that's where we go wrong. Now, hear me. Some things have to be cold turkey. That girl, that boy, cold turkey. Cold turkey. Some things have to be cold turkey. Your addiction, cold turkey. Your weakness, cold turkey. Nope, just don't even mess with it. Make it so it's not available to you however you can. Okay? But what I'm saying is, just like they tell addicts who are recovering, find positive habits to replace your bad ones. Find edifying activities to replace your sin. Okay? Find something that's going to stimulate you intellectually. I've been thinking about crocheting and knitting lately because I keep seeing it on my freaking Facebook timeline. And I'm like, that's interesting. I think I want to make a scarf. Okay. Find good things. And here, yes, you are going to be lonely. Yes, you are going to be by yourself. You will find yourself walking this journey alone a lot. And I battle with this on a personal level because part of me feels like, just looking at life, part of me feels like we were never really meant to be alone. I don't feel like we were meant to, you know how we grow up and go away? I don't feel like we were supposed to do that. If you think back to pre-industrialization or pre the American education system, you stayed with your family. Y'all worked the land that you owned. Your family passed down, teaching. You were educated by your family. They taught you your belief system, your religion, your structure, or whatever. And then the goal was for you to continue what your family was doing and to grow this thing. Okay. But I was watching the documentary today actually about how Jewish immigrants came over and established Hollywood, and it talked about the period in films and movies where they showed the they would show the new Americanized family where the father and his old ways dies off, and the mother, she's brought around to the new ways, so she's idealized, and then you have the child that just totally abandons the family to go and start their own thing. Okay, and so this is the pattern of behavior that has been displayed since we've been Americanized. But it is truly, truly my belief that that is not how we're supposed to go. Um, I mean, I feel like even just life is a testament to that. If you look at the Rockefeller family and look how long they've been in business, it's to the point now where they're in the government. And this man, okay, John, the first John D, established a thing, and his sons continued to that thing. They grew that thing to the point where they were at one time almost the only oil producing company in this country. They tried to start a trust or a monopoly to where they were the only ones producing oil in this country, and if you wanted oil, you had to come to them. Okay. And that grew into, these were the people that established our education system, and now they're effective in government and establishing the Great Reset and everything else that's going on around us today. Okay. That's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to start small. Educate your kids, and your kids multiply upon what you started, and then their kids multiply upon what you started. But we've gotten to the point where we just want to, I'm not going to say we want to. We've gotten to the point now where it's been normalized for children to leave their parents to go and try to start all over again. And if everybody has to keep starting all over again, we're never going to get anywhere. It's just like if you used to play Super Mario and one of y'all would lose, and the loser would always do what? Go and push the reset button and make everybody start all over again. Okay. This is what we've been tricked into doing, forgetting what's behind us. And hey, every person that comes around, let's have them reinvent the wheel. When I worked for an oral surgeon, we had templates of letters because I would have to send letters to insurance companies to get approvals for very expensive surgeries. Okay. And when it comes to these kind of surgeries, the letter has to be very detailed, very specific. Okay. So there was a template. And so with the template, you just pick which type of surgery the person is going to have, and you put their name and their specific information in this template, and we can mail it off and we're done. as opposed to having to sit down and rewrite this letter every single time. And now I've wasted a whole hour, 2 hours typing this thing from the beginning. It's the same thing we're doing, except we're wasting generation after generation after generation because we won't just put our name and our details in the template. We've got to come back to God in this day and time. We've got to come back to the Most High and turn our back on the sin that seeks to beset us and have us bound. And even if your sin is a person, you have to turn your back on that person. Okay. But that's my brother in Christ. Well, there's another brother that can help him. Okay. Sis, you're not even supposed to be teaching men anyway. So that argument is out the window. Turn your back on the thing. And so it's hard. It's hard when we're talking about things like food because you need food to live, right? You need food to live. But so now you have to turn your back on the bad part of food. Turn your back on that junk food. Turn your back on the sugar, your big bag. Okay. Turn it. Like, say no. Pay attention to how you feel after you do a thing, right? Because the feel good of sin is different from the feel good of doing something right. We know that. And even your body responds differently according to the food that you eat. Like, I know when I've been slacking too much. I know when I've been eating too much meat. I know when I've been eating too much sugar. I know when I had too much fat. I know when I haven't had enough vegetables. I know these things because my body lets me know. And this is another thing that has gotten me. I don't understand how people, and I'm not trying to offend anyone. We're just talking. I don't understand how people get to a point of obesity because my body will not function under those circumstances. Like if I get to about 170 and over, my knees start aching. My belly is just bloated and full. Like it just does not feel good. Okay. So I can't, and then hear what I'm saying. I don't understand that because that's not my struggle. Okay. I have, I struggle with my attitude sometimes. Sometimes my mouth can get a little, so I have to, that's my struggle, keeping my mouth shut. um, So I'm not, I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm just talking from a place of someone who can't relate, like I'm just handing down instruction. Absolutely not, because the principle of bad habits and addiction again applies to multiple things. And I've been through things in my life as well. Okay. But you have to decide, and especially those of y'all who know that you have a purpose in your life, the Most High has put a burden on you to reach his people, to share your gifts, to minister the word, like especially for y'all, you have to understand that every time you fail to carry this thing out, to me, when you fail to carry that thing out, now the blood of this person is on your hands. And the Bible talks about that. Those of us that know better, how the blood of the people who we did not witness to is now on our hands. And now we have to answer for that. Okay. And I'm going to tell y'all, I have enough that I have to answer for. I'm not trying to answer for not doing my job. Not for that, because in relation to paying the consequences for not doing what the Most High says, this is easier. Okay, I'd rather deal with the nervousness and whatever I have to deal with to do what He tells me to do, as opposed to dealing with the consequences for not doing what He tells me to do. Okay. When you're looking around and everybody else seems to be doing better than you, when people seem to be flourishing and you're not, and you're trying to figure out why. And let me say this, okay? I know a lot of y'all is like, but it's the people that I run with. It's the people, we doing the same things together. They sinning like I'm sinning. But You're not them. Their life is not your life. They don't have the same call on them that you do. You may be called to witness to 100,000 souls. And this person may have just been created to keep you from reaching your destiny. And that's what y'all don't realize. Some of the people that you running around with, and they'll tell you they love God right there with you while they smoking crack. Why y'all tightening the belt to shoot up? They'll tell you they love the Lord. And see, that's another thing with this watered down Americanized Christianity. Anybody can claim that they love the Lord now. You know why? Because there are no boundaries and there's no guidelines in American Christianity. And so how do we know how to identify you? I know how to identify one of my sisters in the truth because their apparel will be modest, their attitude will be modest, they'll have on their fringes. We're both looking for the non-pork line. We're both avoiding the shrimp. Okay, I know how to identify my sisters in the truth because they are following the same rules and guidelines that I am following. Okay. But when there are no rules and there are no guidelines, anybody can say anything. Just like we was talking about the non-binary. Now that we've done away with the rules and guidelines of gender and being a woman or a man, now anybody can say that they're anything and they don't have to change anything about themselves. Saucy Santana get on Beyonce's internet every day with a full beard and 6-inch nails carrying a purse, and y'all talking about some go girl. There's nothing female about that linebacker at all. At all. Y'all let Dwayne Wade parade his son around here as a girl. That is the ugliest girl I have ever seen. And instead of y'all, well, I ain't gonna say y'all, but y'all will let y'all friends come out the house looking a whole mess. A whole hot mess. Shorts all up their butt, cellulite just flabbing and hanging out everywhere, bonnet on their head, and you will not say anything at all. You'll just let them walk around like that. And then what's worse is you'll hype up the mess. That's just like that person that's sitting there next to you smoking crack. And I'm not saying those of y'all are smoking crack. Replace smoking crack with your favorite sin. Whatever that thing is that you do, that you like to do, that you do with your homegirls or whatever, replace smoking crack with that. Let's say y'all like to go to the bar and hang out and get drunk all times of the night. Y'all like to go to the club and find different men to go home with. Stop thinking that everybody around you has the same conscience as you, because I can guarantee you that they don't. Okay? While you sitting up there trying to reconcile with the Lord, they are sleeping comfortably because they don't have the same burden on their life. And let me tell you something, for those of y'all that be like, oh, well, it's my job to witness to them. The Bible talks about judging righteously. Here's where a lot of people get it confused. They like to just tell us, oh, don't judge lest you be judged. No, the Bible talks about judging righteously. So guess what? If I'm smoking crack, if I'm going to the club looking for men to take home, if I'm sitting up drinking too much, I cannot dare turn and look you in your face and say, hey, girl, you need to stop smoking that crack. You need to stop sleeping with these men. I cannot do that. That is not judging righteously. Okay. So please miss me and miss the Lord with that crap about, oh, I'm witnessing to them. You're not. All you're doing is witnessing to them on how to keep on sinning and getting away with it. Because even if you don't recognize the call on your life, even if you don't recognize God's hand on your life, you need to understand that the people around you do. The people around you do. Whether they have the words to articulate it or not, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, the people around you recognize God's hand on your life, and they know that you have no business being where you are doing with them what they are doing. I had to learn a long time ago that a lot of the people that I thought I wanted to hang out with, I don't. These people were not raised like me at all. They have no semblance of compassion, common sense, equity, love, none of that. Fairness, none of that. When you have come into the love of the Most High, and I'm not even going to talk about how you were raised, because I really think that when you have fully come into the love of the Most High and start to live in it, and then you start to express it in your own life, it changes your heart, and so you are not equipped to deal with people who do not know the love of the Most High. You're no longer equipped to deal with that. That takes a certain kind of hardness of heart. And I've had to realize that it takes a certain kind of hardness of heart to do certain things. It takes a hardness of heart to ignore what you've been taught, to ignore what the Most High has put into you, and to be out here committing these sins, even for stacks of money. Even for stacks of money. You have to harden your heart, and you have to purposely be ignoring the voice of the Lord. And I don't know if any of y'all have ever done that, but you want to talk about a hard time? You want to talk about thoughts that don't go away? You want to talk about depressed and you don't know why? Sad and you don't know why? Confused and you don't know why? Feeling bad? You want low self-esteem? Continue in the thing that you have no business continuing in. I'm telling y'all. And my prayer is that I could just remove the pain. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish there was no pain for this. I wish that it was just simple. I wish we lived on an earth, I don't want to say in the world. I wish we lived on an earth where righteousness was the rule of the land, where righteousness was the law of the land. Think about something else. You know how some sins call for a sacrifice? Like you could commit a sin, you go to the temple, you make your sacrifice, you confess the priest, and you're done. Okay. Other sins require a full public stoning. Like, no, we're going to stone you. Everybody's going to stone you, and we're all going to watch. Okay. The reason for the public display is to make an example of this person. This is what happens to you when you commit this sin, so don't do it. And I feel like the throwing of the stones is even more what's the word I'm looking for? Visceral. Like it churns something up on the inside of you, because it's like, dang, I don't really want to do this to this person, but I know that I have to. Why are you making me do this? Okay. And so keep this in mind when it's you, right? Because yes, the Lord chastises who he loves. So you're going to get it. You literally have to be punished. But do you think that the Most High wants to punish you? No, it's like, imagine yourself throwing a rock at somebody. I don't want to, but you're making me, first of all. And then secondly, you have to be made an example of. You have to, it talks about in the verse where it talks about not if your wife leaves and she takes another husband and that husband dies or he puts her away, you cannot let the wife come back because that will be polluting the land, right? And so in that manner we can look at that and say, okay, we cannot let this sin continue. We cannot let this person continue in this sin, because they will spread the sin around. People will look at them and say, oh, well, she's doing okay, so it's not a big deal if I do it too. Well, she cheated on her husband and he took her back, so it's not a big deal if I do it too. Well, he beating on his wife and nothing happened to him, so I guess I can knock my wife upside her head too. The intention of the immediate punishment for sin was to keep it from spreading. It was to keep it from spreading. Do y'all remember when Moses was on the mountain and he was talking to Moses was talking to the Most High, and the Most High was giving him the law, and he was up there taking too long. So what did we do at the bottom? We decided to melt our gold, the gold that the Most High told us to take from the Egyptians, right? How crazy is that? We decided to take that gold and melt it down and make a calf to worship it. Do you remember the Most High's reaction when he was up there talking to Moses and he was like, "Do you see what these people down here is doing? Do you see what they're doing? I'm about to kill them all. I'm about to kill them all, and that'll just be it." And Moses had to talk him down, like, "Well, Lord, if you kill them all, then people are gonna say, you let us out for nothing, and don't do that. Think about your name now." I imagine it had to be like that because we would all be dead if not. And so what we've done, we've abused the mercy. We've abused the grace, okay? Because I know, when a little kid goes to put his finger in a socket and the protector is there, nothing happens. So the kid's going to keep pushing the socket. And it's just like us. When you go to push that socket and protection is there, you're going to keep pushing it. You go, "Ooh, I didn't get pregnant this month. Praise the Lord." You gonna keep pushing it. "I didn't get caught that time." You're gonna keep pushing it. "The fire didn't get me that time. The police ain't get me that time." You're going to keep pushing it. And here's what I'm saying. The Bible is there to tell you, no, don't push it. Okay? Stop pushing it. Right? So that's what, hey, Atticus. So that's what I wanted to leave y'all with today. Like, listen, it's time out for playing with sin. Okay. It is time out. Not just in terms of a global scale of World War III breaking out and this thing possibly about to go down. But Paxton is always asleep. But it's time out for it in your own life to set yourself on a different path, to stop dealing with the same depressing, unsatisfying results. Okay? You want to get on that narrow path to righteousness, leave that broad path behavior alone. Okay? And with that, say shalom and shalom, Atticus. My baby's here. So, oh yes, we homeschool too. I saw a comment about the homeschooling. Stacy. We got the same last name. Oh, Avaya. Yes. So, okay, we homeschool too. And it's specifically why. Like I had to talk to Atticus today and I was trying to tell him, like, listen, when you go to school, they don't teach you about the law of God. They teach you the exact opposite. So yeah, that is why we homeschool. Is it peaceful? It looks stressful. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm the kind of person, like, if I don't get a thing the first time, I'm like, psh, forget it. I'm done. Um, but I don't know. I'm gonna try it. Did you start with the little, like a little project, or with a big project? Let me know. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just Yes. Listen, the more you study the Bible, the more clear things will become. Absolutely. Okay. 2 Corinthians 6:14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness? That does not just apply to when you're looking to get married. That applies to your friends, associates, people that you hang around with as well. Proverbs 13:20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. It's a fave. That's all praises. Listen, I hope something I said was helpful on this evening, whether you're listening to it live or you come in for the replay later. Um, you started with a circle. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to say I'm going to try it. I'm going to look into it some more. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look into it some more. If you like what I said or anything we got going on here at the House of Mono, please head on over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. We thank you in advance. Ladies and gentlemen, Monologue McGad in the building, everybody.
Shalom, shalom.
I want to add something.
What's up?
We do bouncies, indoors, outdoors, pools.
Okay. What's the bouncy
That's
company?
all.
That's all. What's the name of the bouncy company? You gotta tell them. Top tier parties.
Top tier parties.
The
And
Friend
if
Doctors.
the friend doctors,
And
The dogs.
the dogs.
Mono Westside Bullies.
Mono West Side Boys.
Atticus is training to take over the businesses of the House of Mono.
Absolutely. All
Cheers,
of
my
them
dad.
are.
I don't. We're not telling him to advertise the businesses
No,
on here. This
no.
is
He just do this on his own.
different.
This man handles business. Okay, I must say, like, I'm not just saying it because he's my 5-year-old, but
Anybody who's trying to put crochet in the ideals of my wife, take it away.
why?
Mom, I'm about to be
Cause
sick.
we ain't got time for no crochet.
Seriously, Dad.
That new song with you and Kanal is fire. Oh, praise the sister. It's so crazy. That song is not new at all. That song is like, shoot, is it 2 years old? Like a year old. Yeah, like 2 years old. We recorded that song, but we just never put it out. You know what I'm saying? All praise to the Most High. Done.
Well, thank y'all so much, everybody who joined me tonight, everybody who participated in the chat. Ava, Angelina, Esha, thank you so much. Stacy, who else? Keith the Chef, thank you.
Hey, check this out, man. Make sure y'all go.
Mary Consori, thank you. Mary Lou, thank you. Princess Washington, thank you. Monologue McGad, thank you.
Y'all go and like the channel, please. Subscribe to the channel if y'all ain't. Subscribe to Monologue McGod on YouTube. Put the YouTube up there. Put the name on there. I mean, most of y'all watching it right here. Go on and like the video. Share it to your people. People need to hear it. What are you drinking, boy?
My tea.
Some apple tea.
Okay. Share it. People need to hear it, man. Women need to hear why Boaz don't want their ass so they can get it together. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me on this evening. Please, if you are not following us on socials, my husband at Monologue McGad, I am at Miss Mono's World, IG, TikTok, Facebook, all those good places. I be out in these content creator streets. Sometimes I need to get more content. Listen, if you have any questions or anything, or if you like a clip of something from tonight and you happen to make a clip, please send it to me. I need clips, and I'm not good at making clips of myself because I don't know like how people react to what I say. So if you had a moment and you was like, "Ooh, people need to hear this," please make a clip and send it to me, please. Now we'll repost and tag you and all that good stuff. If you have questions, topics that you'd like me to discuss, whether they be short topics or long topics, whatever, send me a DM at Miss Mono's World on any of my socials.
If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side, hustle or business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Being on the same block. pot, cooking up the same rock on the cell block, lock with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had gold. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you push your low. Black men don't cheat, screaming bomb the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the streets these days. One time for the men doing everything. They're first to the T, living so
No,
good.
Billy,
3 times
no,
for the 4 that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing things. They're first to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my 4 okay. 4 times for the man can't control up. 1 time for the 4 that moved up. Even if you had the slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang and I homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing.
Check this out, y'all. We out of here, man. All praise to the Most High, man. We love y'all.
We're gonna have them for y'all when we come next week. We be running through the first 10 laws. So, and we don't call them the 10 commandments. They know that there's just the first 10. But we'll have them for you next week, right? We'll be ready to run down next week.
But no, you had purpose, you had plans.
Shalom and shalom. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you. Good night.
Living super clean. That it came
One time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing.
Tune in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magog. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. Don't miss it, sisters and cousins.
Let him save you in the end like a Seminole. Be his help me, shout it, let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing gang things.